Right, before we conclude, I want to show you a short video clip. We have been so fortunate to be able to take the Dhamma far and wide. And I'm sure you will know that recently one of our high ordained monks, Venerable Dasa Thero, he went on a tour, not tour, but a Dhamma tour, to take the Dhamma to the Australian community. So he's been there for 3 months now. He'll be returning shortly. And I asked one of our Anagarika Mahathas who went with him to send us a short video of what they got up to while they were there. I'm really pleased about what they have managed to do during their short but very productive time there. They have managed to go to schools, they have managed to go to rehabilitation centers, youth correction facilities. You'll see photos of that in a moment. They have managed to organize several talks, Dhamma talks, and SEAL programs. So really our main target was not the Sri Lankan expat community, because they get it whenever they come here. Really our target was the, natives in that country. Because we want to take this Dhamma to them because why? What do we expect in return? Nothing. So many times Dasahandru asked, do I have to? Do I have to go? Can I not be here at the monastery? This is home for me. If I go, I'm going to have to leave Guru Thera. I'm going to have to leave you and go. Can I not be here for a bit longer? But eventually, he came to terms with it. And the same for the Anagarika Mahatya. He's still an Anagarika, still training to understand what this is, our ecosystem here, our culture here, and so on. But we felt that he was prepared for the job, and when duty calls, all hands on deck. This is what we live for: to give people the truth, to help liberate themselves, right? Expecting nothing in return. Now I have proved to you that I'm not saying this just because I'm a nice guy. I'm a nice guy, but that's not why I'm saying we give things without expecting anything in return. Right? When I understand that what I feel as a self is pure dukkha, pure suffering, why would I? Why would I do anything, right, to nurture this suffering? Right? Now you have to understand that my quest in life has to be to free myself from all attachments, from all wantings, and from all desires. It is now obvious to you. Right? Not just because I say so. Now you understand it. So with that same intention, we have been able to do that for our Australian community. Now, today is Independence Day. Right? We have been able to take independence to Australia. How's that for size? We've been able to give them a taste of freedom. And they have asked for programs in the future, and he has received several invitations, particularly from rehab centers, and particularly the youth. I think drugs is a big problem now, not just in Sri Lanka, but in lots of parts of the world. And I think Australia has taken a big hit. So, once our rehabilitation center is up, our plans are to make, those facilities available to them as well. Because they're all, just as human as we are. Under the skin, we are all red in blood. We're all the same people. And we're all, after all, just minds, all deserving of the Buddha's Dhamma for freedom. We all deserve the Buddha. Buddha belongs to all of us, doesn't he? He doesn't just belong to Buddhists. Jesus doesn't belong to Christians. Jesus belongs to everyone. The Buddha belongs to everyone. The truth belongs to everyone. Because the truth is here for all minds to be freed. So I want to show you a short video clip of his escapade in Australia. The one disappointment that he had was, to this day, he's not seen a single kangaroo. I think some of the highlights that Dasahandru and Anagarika Mahathir spoke of were the SEAL programs that we joined online, because at the monastery, when we have the meditation programs, we do our one-to-one chats. So we were able to do the same, but online for people there. So I think they really enjoyed that opportunity. Our Anagarika Mahatmya has also joined from the Anagarika Rama to help with the ladies and to help them to resolve their practical issues by applying the Dhamma. So I think that was a huge highlight of the event. And also particularly those visits to the rehab centers, and there are a lot of youth out there because they don't have the Dhamma, right? So they don't have the truth. Therefore, whatever means and methods they know. You see, throwing money at problems doesn't cure them. Australia is a developed country. It's a first world country. But what matters is whether you have the Dhamma or not. Without that, it matters not how developed you are, how much money you have. Suffering is suffering for everyone. So we were really pleased that we were able to give the gift of Dhamma, to take the Buddha's message to them. And I think, so there was a monastery that the Australian community had set up before Dasahandru's visit there, but I think only for a very few days he spent there. Most of the time he was traveling the country, going from place to place, as the Buddha wanted of us. Charata bhikkhave charikam bahujana hitaya bahujana sukhaya. That is what he did. I think maybe in all of the 3 months that he was there, I think 1 or 2 weeks was the only time that he was at the monastery. Other times he was just traveling. I think most of the time they were telling me the other day, most of the time they spent mid-air, because of course in Australia you can't drive to places, you have to fly. So every other day or every 2 or 3 days they would be on a flight from one city to the other. And I'm really pleased about what we have been able to do as a community. This is all of us who helped make this possible. All of you who sat down and listened to him speak and gave him the opportunity to share with you the Dhamma, and giving him the opportunities to explain the Dhamma, making sure that he was able to deliver it in as sharp as it needs to be. All of you who gave him that moral support and made sure that he had the requisites that he needed as a monk, right, to come this far. I remember bringing Dasahandru here when he was just a young child several years ago, and the conversation that he and I had one day when he finally came and asked me, right, Swaminathan, now is the time I need to decide, do I stay or do I go? And we were in Anuradhapura at the time. And I explained to him, this is what's going to happen if you stay, this is what's going to happen if you go. So those things that he would have wanted to do staying here, I think he has started to make that change in the world. And I want all of you to rejoice in what we have all achieved and managed to do. You know so well and clearly that it is not our intention to go traveling the world, right? Because we've been there. Right? So Dasahandru didn't need a visa to go there because he can travel wherever he wants to. So it's not a desire or a need to go traveling, because we've seen enough of the world, so much so that we want to get the heck out of it. Right? But we know that during our stay here, we have something that we can offer to all burning hearts and all hearts that are suffering, and that is what we want to do. And you have all played a key part in making that happen. So I think the blessings of all that is yours as much as it is his, as well as the Anagarika Mahathir who went with him. And I want you all to rejoice in them and to resolve that may all those merits, the power that you put behind him, the energy that you put behind him, and to sustain him as a monk, right, all that has gone to good use, as you can see. So may those merits help you all on your path to your own liberation as well. Okay. So with that, I'm going to conclude the sermon.